I can go. What's going on, silencers? And welcome back to No More Radio Silence. Now, I am a few minutes early before we're going to get into the subject, but I did want to touch on some things, maybe give a little bit of a personal update slash channel update, and um, yeah, go from there. So I'll just jump right into the personal and channel updates. And yeah, without any further ado, just remember this is No More Radio Silence, where we cover subjects that people have been told to keep buried, keep in the closet, or never let see the light of day. Now, this is not supposed to be monetized in any way, shape, or form. So if you do wish to support me and what I do, the link to my Patreon is in the link tree in the description. And yeah, so as much as I don't want to say it like this, fuck it. Full speed, mock Jesus, let's do it. Anyway, so today's subject comes from VFL 1458G-Adam. And I have to apologize because this has actually been sitting in my podcast requests for 2 years and a month because I suck. And I'm very, very sorry that it took so long to get around to this subject. A lot has happened, and partially the way the question was asked was also partially to blame for the way I approached it and avoided it. So I'll start with that explanation first. I'm just going to call you Adam. Adam asks, I don't know if it's too touchy of a subject, but I'd love to hear your thoughts, especially Stone, who I would feel very well into this. Now, I need to let you know that Stone is no longer with us. No, I haven't killed his ass, but I really probably should make him pick up Bloody Teeth with Broken Fingers. Stone used to be a friend of mine under the guise of friendship. He betrayed me and a couple of people very close to him, and I was unaware of this until it was much too deep of an issue to overcome. And so I want to give you a little bit of that story. So I have known Stone, which, by the way, I gave him that name. He was trying to figure out how to get into the streaming world, and I digress. When I met Stone, we were like 11. And he and I, we didn't really get along all that well. He was this awkward little homeschooled kid, and I was educated and cunning, and it was sort of wasn't even really a friendship. As I come to find out over the years, it was more of a dependency. I was everything he wanted to be, and I enabled him to a certain extent. Fast forward a number of years, I had actually lost contact with him, but when I got down to southern Utah, I got contact with him again, and we were friends, or we were attempting a friendship for a little while. He always had good questions that caused me to think deeply and answer deep questions and stuff. And so, again, I just kind of overlooked a lot of red flags. And then he started dating someone and proposed and married her. This was after I was already married. And come to find out, he was trying to live the life that I had without earning it. And so he was making a lot of brash decisions and things like that. Him and his thank God now ex-wife, um, used to fight constantly because Stone was very much brainwashed in the religion that he was in, that the patriarchy is the only way, that patriarchs, that the man is in charge and the woman needs to be barefoot pregnant and in the kitchen. Obviously, that is not a popular or even semi-correct way to approach a relationship, especially a modern one. And that didn't sit very well with his ex-wife. And she started to learn and grow without Stone. Much to her credit, she is an amazing woman. We're still close friends. But fast forward to Easter of 2023, Easter weekend of 2023. I was helping Stone's ex-wife, wife at the time, but ex-wife now. I was helping her write a book. She was writing a book about Icelandic folklore, and I have some unique insight into that. So I was helping. We were on Discord video chat, and all of a sudden I heard a 45 go off, 45 caliber pistol, bang. And it took me a moment to realize what had happened, but I knew almost immediately that Stone, who was sitting in the background of this video, had misfired a 45 caliber 1911 pistol. And he had missed his wife by a few inches. In fact, had the shot been just a couple of degrees higher, he would have hit her vitally. He panicked. He shut down the video call. She was shaken, understandably, but okay. And the next day, he had basically told her, you know, I'm the man. You're not going to tell anybody what happened, because that wouldn't be okay. And so she called me again, and she was shaken and she didn't feel safe. And I asked her if she trusted him, and she said, no, absolutely not. There's never been that level of trust or anything like that. And I said, okay, you need to leave. And it was like this huge weight was lifted off of her, that she just needed that permission, that it was okay to leave. And I was in the middle of my divorce at the time, so I knew there was life after divorce and all that stuff. But the Mormon church very much teaches that once you get divorced, like, that's it. You're toast. You're not worth anything to anybody. You're never going to get remarried. You're never going to find another person, whatever it is. But they spew a lot of that shit. And so it was like she just needed that permission to go. And within 24 hours, she was gone. And I haven't actually spoken with Stone since. So he will not be welcome in my life anywhere near my channel or podcast. And if he should show up in chat, I will immediately be taking care of that, because I will not have people like that in my community. He was mentally, physically, emotionally, and sexually abusive to his wife, up to and including attempted murder, which I witnessed. But I digress. She didn't want to press charges. She just wanted to leave. She's prepared with a full, restraining order and stuff if that happens. But she is healthy. She is seeking help as far as some mental struggles that she's been going through, and obviously the trauma of that. And she is happily remarried and learning to love and trust again. So she is just fine. And I got to keep her in the divorce. So, but Stone is gone. Just letting you guys know. Now, on to the subject at hand. So the subject of the question is, and I will just read it because I have to kind of gather my thoughts on this one, because I can get very angry when it comes to the subject of religion because of what it did to me. So anyway, on to the question, verbatim. The subject of religion. With current events in the world, I struggle with religions sometimes, as it only seems a source of conflict throughout human history. My view is our religion is purely based on where we are born, and we are to swear that that's the true religion and condemn every other religion on pure ignorance. So many overrule, crusades, wars have come from religions on all sides, and it is the greatest downfall of religion and most primitive thinking a human can do to kill another over a belief. I would love to hear your perspectives and would like you to finish off with what you feel religion has done good for the world. As I do see a great things in many religions, but when it comes down to it, it is more of a cultural thing of areas of religions rather than the religion itself. Places could keep their cultures without religion and remove this division. Adam, you make an excellent point. So I am an atheist. I'm an oppositional atheist. That means if God is out there, I want nothing to do with he, she, it, they, them, whatever pronoun I'm supposed to put on divinity nowadays with all the LGBTQIA plus 7Z4 sound purple, whatever I'm supposed to say. I don't believe that if the bastard exists, that he deserves to be worshipped, from the standpoint that when you build your home, say you're building a house, you've got the foundation, the mix for the foundation, the lumber, the sheetrock, the electrical, you've got all that stuff laid out, and you are the god of that domain. But you just took all of the ingredients that were already there in the universe and you're going to put them together into a home. That's well and good. You are, again, the god of your domain. But how much thought have you given to the ants in the colony, every single individual ants in the colony across the street behind your neighbor's house? None. Doesn't matter if they took some sugar cubes from your trash can or not at some point. You haven't given any thought to that. And that's totally fine. If something is all powerful, like God, and able to create everything, why would he care about anything? Now, I'm getting a little off track, but I was going for, I am an oppositional atheist. I will not jump in somebody's face and go, you're a Christian, you're wrong. Or you're a member of Islam, Allah doesn't exist. I have no problem with there being a God. I have a problem with the faith and fealty that people swear to their gods and their religions, which is kind of where this question is going. So the question asks that our religions are purely based on where we're born, and we swear that that's the true religion and condemn every other one. And that's the way it is for most people. In fact, the majority of people who are in religions are born into them because their parents or grandparents or ancestors had converted to this religion and they're just born into it. That's why there's always that big joke when you ask an Irish person, what religion are you? And they go, well, we're not really religious. We don't really go to church or anything like that, and we don't really believe in God, so Catholic. Which I think is just hilarious. But yeah, so your religion is based usually on your environment and based on the background that your family swears fealty to, which is fine. Everybody has to start somewhere. But the majority of people are not converts. In fact, the most converted to religion in the past 10 years is Islam. And it's still a paltry amount compared to everything else. Compared to how many members they have, how many members are worldwide. It's just percentage-wise highest. But then that begs the question, if one religion is truer than another or completely true and the rest are bullshit, why isn't there just a higher conversion rate? Why aren't people just seeing the truth for what it is and flocking that direction? And this is where all religions have some good in them. Every single religion, be it the worst cults in history or the best, most philanthropic organizations in the world, have good in them. There are good teachings. There are bad executions, which is where you get things like horrible, terrible cults. But there is good in every religion. However, here's where my answer comes in. I don't feel like religion is necessarily what's done the good in the world. I don't believe that you have to be Catholic to believe in Jesus, to follow the teachings of God. I don't believe that you have to be a member of non-radical Islam to believe the words of the Prophet Muhammad. Peace be upon him. Sorry, I almost screwed that one up. To believe in the words of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. You don't need to be a Bible-thumping Methodist or a Southern Baptist or anything like that to be a good person. Religion just mainstreams and consolidates most of the good teachings that are just human decency. For instance, I hate the Mormon Church. Absolutely hate everything it stands for. But I can't deny that they do teach the words of Jesus. The first commandment is to love thy God. The second is like unto it to love thy neighbor as thyself. And then the church goes and makes it so that everybody fucking hates themselves and they wonder why everybody's a bunch of dicks. I digress. So you have that. You have the 10 commandments. Thou shalt not have any other gods before me. Thou shalt not create unto thee any graven image. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. Thou shalt remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Yes, I remember all of the little hand signs for this. Honor thy father and thy mother. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness. And thou shalt not covet. You have the 10 commandments. These aren't God-given commandments. They aren't esoteric guides. They're basic human decency. Sure, believe in God first and foremost. Yeah, you could say that's bullshit. But take it from the perspective of Shepherd Book from the Serenity and Firefly series. I don't care what you believe. Just believe in it. Just keep it close to your heart. It doesn't matter if it's a god. It doesn't matter if it's money. It doesn't matter if it's health and exercise. It doesn't matter if it's being a good person. It doesn't matter if it's protecting those close to you. Believe in that, and that will drive you to be a good person. I don't believe religion has anything to do with that. I think religion just mainstreams and shoves it down your throat. So, how long have I been rambling? This is going to be a short episode because nobody's in the comments, which it works for me. I don't believe that religion is responsible for the good in the world. I believe religion makes mainstream the goods that are inherent in humanity. I also believe that religion is responsible, on the flip side, sort of hypocritical of what I just said. I believe religion is responsible for a lot of the evil that's in the world. Because if certain things were not focused on so much as being, good people versus bad people, there wouldn't be as much bad. There would still be people. Oh, hey, Michael. There would still be people that do bad things, but you wouldn't see this stark contrast because it wouldn't be well, I'm already this bad, so I might as well just be this bad. Religion is an interesting thing. It's a hard subject, and everybody will get super defensive, but I will stand by this thought for the rest of time. I do not need to hide behind the skirt of Jesus or God to be a good person. I just choose that every day. And sometimes that means I'm an asshole, especially when you're driving under the speed limit or you cut me off in traffic. I'm the devil. But I don't need a God, a religion, a congregation, a priest, a father, a rabbi, a sheikh. I don't need any of that to tell me that I'm doing the right or wrong thing. And if you're only following the rules because of some esoteric, arbitrary reward that comes after, you're not following the rules for the sake of following the rules. You're following the rules because you're afraid of what comes next. So does that make one of us better than the other? Food for thought. Let me know in the comments below. I'm going to wrap up this episode, and I may jump into the next one because I have been really bad at catching up on my podcasts, and I don't want to let you guys down anymore. It has been a hectic couple of months, weeks, years, and I'll fill you in slowly but surely. I've got some exciting developments coming up in the next 3 months or so. So my life may change very drastically in that time, but hopefully I'll be able to keep doing this. We'll all see. I'm going to have some new collaborators involved, hopefully in this next little bit. And yeah, so thank you very much, silencers, for tuning in, for hearing what I have to say. Hopefully this answered your question, Adam. I am sorry that it took so long to get into your podcast, but I didn't want to approach this subject, this topic, until I was able to completely overcome the negative emotions and rage that I was working through in regards to Stone and his betrayal. And I finally got to a place where I was comfortable making this discussion. So anyway, remember, silencers, there are those around you who are struggling more than you know, and a simple smile, a handshake, or a kind gesture can change somebody's life. And you won't know who it is until it's too late. So treat everyone with kindness, love, and respect. This life is worth living, but nobody should live it alone. I'm not saying you have to be best bosom buddies with everybody, but you can take steps to make sure nobody feels alone. We'll talk about that a little more in the next episode. But until then, thank you very much for watching and liking, and may the Arc Force be with you always.